Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Thanks for joining me today. Folks, what I have here is a complete game changer for you for doing your diecast cars and many other things, which we'll discuss here in just a moment. What we have here is the IColor 560 printer. Now, this is a laser toner printer, but it also prints with white toner. And that's something that we desperately need for doing our die-cast cars. But the best part about it is this machine was actually designed to do t-shirts and other types of media like cups and hats and all kinds of things. And we're not going to really hit on that today, but this white toner printer, like I said, folks, is a game changer. Now we're going to go into how I have used this to make my water slide decals, which there really isn't a lot of people out there who use this machine to do this. So sit back, grab your favorite adult beverage, and join in as I introduce you to the IColor 560. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our software to design our car. Now what I've got here is I've got a template for a 55 Chevy Bel Air gasser, and I'm going to go through and we're going to do a really cool build here for these decals. We're going to do Hellfire Hot Sauce Blueberry Hell. What I'm doing now is I'm just putting on some colors on the car for what I want to use as far as the base coat for my car. This gives me a better idea of what I'm going to do with the decals and how I'm going to place them and how they're going to show up on the car. So what it's going to do is we're going to have a light blue fade to a purple fade from the front to the rear. So this is what I'm applying right now. Well, we got to turn it around, so we're going to go into the program and do this. Now, depending on which software you use to do your designing, such as CorelDRAW or Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator or Paint Shop Pro, it doesn't matter. As long as you can do these things with your software, you'll be just fine. So this is the color combination that I want to use for the car itself. That's looking good. Now what I did is I set up the same color pattern as I did for the one that I did on top, and I'm just copying and pasting as you see there. Now since the car is going from the bottom to the top or up and down, we're going to have to change the rotation of the color so it turns out properly as you see here. We'll just have to rotate it 180 degrees. This software that I'm using is actually software for a plotter or cutter that I've had for a while. It's actually Sign Shop software. Now I've already designed this layout on a car. I was going to do it originally in black, but I decided against it. But I did have the artwork already done. Now we'll get into how to do the artwork here in a future video. So make sure you keep an eye out for these because there's going to be a lot of great info. Now with this IColor 560 printer, like I said, it's white. It's a white toner printer. Now if you had the Hewlett-Packard set up where you had to change the white cartridge out, then print the white first, then go back in and try and slip the sheet in and then print the color on top of it, a lot of times you had misregistration. Now with this IColor software, the RIP software that we're going to use, and you import it in, this will automatically print the decal with white underneath it. So you can apply it to any color car, whether you print it on white or apply it to a white car or a silver car or a black car or a red car. It doesn't matter. It's going to print white underneath it in order for it to show up really good on that particular car. And I'll explain that to you as we get a little bit farther into the processing. So we're going to do the layout here, And what I'm doing is I'm sizing up the cars. The cars themselves, the area that I'm working on is just a little over 70 millimeters. It's approximately 70.5 to 71 millimeters. But that's the length of the car. Now I prefer to use millimeters because it's a lot easier to get closer to your measurements. I really like this color combination that I did on this fade, or I'm going to do on this fade. Let's make this overall sheet, which is 8.5 by 11, let's make it a little bit smaller so it fits properly. I really like this vinyl designing software. It does a lot of features and stuff. It's a little bit expensive, this vinyl software, but it works extremely well. But like I said, I've had it for years. Now, as I was saying about the Hewlett-Packard printer, once you print the white, then you got to throw the paper back in and print the black, or the colors. And misregistration happens all the time, so you're always wasting product. With the IColor 560, it automatically puts the white underneath it. So you don't have to worry about that misregistration. It all prints it in one pass. Now, if you happen to be printing something on a white car or a light color car like silver, you can switch out that white cartridge for a black cartridge so you can get that really vivid black. I like the way that this design that I did for Hellfire Hot Sauce turned out. It looks really, really cool. And it's going to look good on that car. And I think on black, it really wouldn't have done it justice. So that's why I went with the purple to light blue fade. All I'm doing now is sizing the decals onto that car so they will be the proper size when I print them. Now we got to put the decals on the roof, or at least the design on the roof. And like I said, I already pre-designed this here, so that's why I'm doing this and showing you this way, so I can save you some time. And we will make another video here. I'll show you how I go into it, how I design it, and how we lay it out, which is what we're doing pretty much right now. All we got to do now is put the design on the trunk, and we'll be ready to go. That's this little decal here, this little logo. And that's for a hot sauce award. Now on the back page, as we get to the back page here, I'll show you in a second. Here we go. Let's put that on the trunk. There it is, the Hot Pepper Awards. And Hellfire Hot Sauce has won over 50 awards. I think it's up to 57 or 58 or something like that. But it's a fantastic sauce. If you like hot, you will love Hellfire Hot Sauce, and they've got so many different brands, and they've also been featured on the YouTube show Hot Ones. They're cranked hot sauce, and I'll tell you what, it'll light you up. But if you like hot, it's good to go. Now here I put a light blue background, just a square, so I can see where I put the white lettering and the light white logos on the decal, and so it'll show up this way. So before I export it, I'm going to remove that blue background. So when it transfers over clean. And you'll see what I mean here in just a moment. What I'm doing is I'm placing the decals now in an array, so when I print them, they take up as less space as possible, so I can fit as many of these on one sheet when I print them, if I plan on printing up a bunch. You'll see as we go. I think that'll be okay there. But you got to leave yourself plenty of room to cut around the decals to get them off that paper, so you don't want to bunch them up too close. Now see how you can't see the white lettering of the logo, the Chevy bow tie? That's why I put that blue behind there, so I make sure that everything is where it needs to be before I send it over to the IColor RIP software. We're going to export this as a PNG file, and what that does is the background goes away and it'll be all transparent, so there won't be any big square around there like if you sent over a JPEG or something like that. This way here, all the background color is completely gone, and you'll see that when I bring it up here in just a moment. Like I said, a PNG file. We're going to export this into a file where I look for it for any file that I'm going to print for my decals. Make sure you give it a name that you don't forget. Now, I did already have a Blueberry Hell set of decals already made in the file that I'm putting it into, so I labeled this one number 2. Notice on the file there, all those little gray and white squares, all that background is completely transparent, so there will be nothing there when we go to print these. And we're going to send this to the file where we can find it with our RIP software. Now the printer, the IColor 560, it comes with this RIP software, or raster image processing. Go into the file. Now first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to call up the file itself. And I'm doing that for a reason. This machine, like I said, was designed for the t-shirt industry. So again, this is a business in a box, folks. Not only will you be able to do your decals for your diecast or any model car, like a 1/24 scale, plastic models or whatever. Notice how the print here is backwards. Okay? I don't know if you saw that or not, but the print is backwards. And then you would print white over the top of it. This is how you would do a t-shirt, because you're going to flip it over and you're going to iron it on so it pushes down into the shirt when you use the heat press. But we're not going to do that. We're going to go to a feature called underprint. And what that means is it will automatically print white where it's needed to make your decals show up better on a dark surface car. Now also, once you get this all set up, there are 4 cartridges inside the machine that have colors. You got CMYK normally. Notice how now you can read it, it's right. But you can also see the white because I changed the color of the sheet so I could see the white. Anyway, where I was going with this is when you do an underprint, there's a certain rotation of the cartridges inside the machine. And you'll see a picture of that here in a bit. What we did with the decals here is we did a duplicate and now we're spacing them. So down here on the bottom right hand side, we're going to go ahead and add some more of these decals. But the first thing we're going to do before we add any more is we're also going to space it out up and down. So it gives you a little bit more room. When you finish the print, you'll be able to cut these out with no issues. Look at that. We're going to get 12 sets of decals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 sets of decals. 14 sets of decals on one sheet. That's a darn good ratio, I'm telling you. And it means a lot whether you print them horizontally like you see here, or you turn it 90 degrees and print it up and down vertically. So that's going to be a big difference between the size of the thing you're printing and how much it'll occupy on your decal sheet. Now once this is all set, your spacing is all set, you're going to go ahead and hit that print button. And the print button is going to send the information to the printer. Guys, this machine is absolutely incredible. And there are master training classes available once you get the machine to teach you how to go through everything step by step. Now when it comes to the decals and things like that, all you have to do is contact me if you have questions. I will find an answer for you if you have a question, okay? Now, like I said, the Hewlett-Packard printer, you get into that for about $1,000. Now this IColor 560, it's more money for sure, but you know what? It does a heck of a lot more, and it makes it so much easier on you. And like I said, you can print the decals that I'm showing you here. You can print the t-shirts. Which another thing is if you've got a t-shirt that's like a 5X, you don't want to put a little design on there that only fits 11 inches. They have what's called Smart Cut that comes with this software. You can take a design and make it big to fill up that back of the shirt, and it will strategically put cut lines in there where all you have to do is butt register them when you put them on the heat press, and you can fill up a shirt. And it's a great feature if you want a design that's a lot bigger. There's so many things that you can do with this. Now, I'll recommend some other videos on this with my friend Richard Shannon. And this guy knows his stuff when it comes to this printer. But he's got some great videos out there to get you to see what is done with these machines. And there's all kinds of other videos. But if you want to get one of these machines, just let me know, okay? Now, the printer is processing the information or rastering the information. You see it up there in the upper left-hand corner in the blue, the little bar slider. Takes a little bit of time for it to register because, hey, these pictures are, there's a lot of there's a lot of megabytes in there when it's going to process these things, because this thing has a, oh gosh, what am I going to say here? It has a clarity of 2200 dpi. Now, this is just showing you that you can rotate these cartridges out depending if you're doing an overprint or an underprint. And in the bottom right corner of your RIP software, it will tell you what order to put the cartridges. Now, notice how the white cartridge is all the way to the back. This is how you set it up for an underprint. Now, if you want an overprint, you switch the white cartridge with the cyan cartridge. Okay, here's my printer. It's guys, I can't begin to tell you, it's a fantastic machine. Notice here, again, there's your cartridges and everything. And there's also instructions that come with it, but there's also instructions with it that show you what cartridge to put in what order. Now, if you're going to do an overprint, you take out the white cartridge, you move the cyan cartridge or the blue cartridge all the way to the back, and then you insert the black cartridge. Here's your decal paper. It's blue on the front, it's shiny, and it's matte finish on the back. You put the shiny side down when you're feeding it through here. Now, you can either feed the sheet into the tray, or you can feed it in like I'm doing here, the bypass tray it's called. It's set in, it pulled the sheet in. Now here it goes. It takes a little bit of time for it to process, but it prints that fast. And folks, there's your decals. This is how easy this machine works, folks. Like I said, it's a game changer. Now, you could make a business doing decals and selling decals and like that, but you can also top it off with selling t-shirts and stuff and things like this nature. Now, here's a clear acetate sheet. I'm showing you a regular print, and then you're going to flip it over, and there's the white that it prints on the back. This is how it's going to show up on your car, and you'll see here in just a moment, okay? But that's how it automatically prints that white on the back. Now we're going to take the decals, and I already put them on a car here that I painted up. Look how fantastic they look. All this is waiting for is the decals to dry. You put them on regular water slide decals, and then you go in, you put some clear coat on there. And of course, I've got my new Diecast Graveyard clear coat out there that you can get at diecastgraveyard.com. But look at how beautiful these decals turned out. Here's another one I did, another Hellfire Hot Sauce brand, and this is called Angry Orange. Now you see some haze on there. That's because of the decal setting solution I put on there. But this is a brand new hot sauce from Hellfire Hot Sauce also, Angry Orange. All I got to do is clear coat these and put the cars together, do a little details on the headlights, etc. But coming up, I'm going to show you how you can do foil with this machine. That's right, folks. You'll be able to do foil decals with this machine. And I'm going to show you here in a future video in the very near future. What a fantastic, wonderful machine this is. If you've got questions, reach out to me in the comments. I'm happy to answer them and guide you to getting your own machine.
Thank you for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. We've got a lot more videos coming up in the future, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And thank you again for joining me here today. If there's something you'd like to see, put it in the comments. Thank you, and cheers.